Welcome back to Club Chit Chat with your DJ Miss Sophia right here. We are your radio. We are your radio. We are the home of the urban sound of pride. Yes, ma'am, we are. My special guest today is the one and only Gee Smalls. Gee Smalls is a life and relationship coach. He's also the owner of a restaurant. He's also a father. He's a philanthropist. He's also an author, and he is in a gay marriage. So, Gee, you
wear a gay marriage. Is that what we call this?
What is it? What do you call it?
It's just a marriage.
It's just a marriage.
Yeah, I've been married to both, so I mean, I can attest that it's just a marriage.
It's just a marriage.
Yeah, it ain't no such thing as a gay marriage.
You know what? Two men.
It's just 2 minutes married.
2 men are married.
I don't necessarily identify as gay either.
You don't? Well, what do you identify as?
I will say I don't care if people call me gay. That's fine. Or people call me bisexual or whatever they want to call me. Same gender loving. If somebody asks me, I will say I'm same gender loving, which means obviously I love the same gender, but it doesn't necessarily place me into a box because throughout my life, my sexuality has been pretty fluid. And so just because I've been married to a man for the past 10, 12 years doesn't necessarily mean that I'm only attracted to men. And so that's why I say that I don't necessarily identify as gay. I will say same gender loving or fluid. Which I believe that most people are fluid, but we tend to want to identify to something and place ourselves in this box. But like I'm 43 now, and at different points in my life, I'm like, oh, I'm straight, oh, I'm gay, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that, continuously trying to find my way until I settle to, no, I'm just me, I'm fluid. I don't have to fit into any one particular thing, but I don't mind being labeled whatever you want to.
No, and that's why I wanted you here because you wear so many hats and you know, and I've heard you on several shows, you know, radio and television and everything, and you are very knowledgeable about who you are and what you identify as, and this it's just like being here. A lot of people ask me a lot of questions about, you know, transgender, and I'm like, I'm not transgender, I can't answer that, but I know some transgender women, they can answer that question better than I can. So it's just like, it's good to have somebody like you who can explain, you know, your stance in the gay community. And also it's just like I felt the same way when Janelle Monáe came out and said, you know, she said I'm pansexual. I'm like, what? What's pansexual?
Yeah, that's the same thing. We talked about that. Yeah, that's too, like, pansexual is pretty much the same thing as fluid. She's pretty much, she can be attracted to anyone, doesn't matter what their gender is. For me, that's how it is too. But I'm if I had to like pick a percentage, I would say I'm mostly attracted to men, but I find myself attracted to
women.
And you know, the gender non-conforming. You know, some people don't identify themselves as a man or a woman. So I mean, I found myself attracted to plenty.
Yeah, and so the spirit, you know what? And I didn't want to be disrespectful, but the spirit told me that about you when you came in here today and when you were on your way up here, and that's why I have my blouse button all the way up. Yes, I don't want this man to think. No. But one of the reasons that I really wanted to bring you in here today is because of your book. You have written this book, and your book is telling your story. Yeah. And the book is titled Black Enough, Man Enough, Embracing My Mixed Race and Sexual Fluidity. Yeah. Now, I want you to just read just something from the book so they can hear it from your lips to their ears.
I will. And so today I am reading from chapter 2. It's called The Smalls Family, and it's on page 7. What y'all think about Rita Faye having a baby for that nigger? My drunk Uncle Tommy yelled out as he burst into my grandmother's home on the night before Thanksgiving in 1974. Rita, my mom, had just left after bringing my sister over to her mom's house so everyone could see her new baby. My half-white, half-black sister was only a few weeks old, and like most black babies, her real skin color had not come in. This meant that she could pass as white. At least that's what my mom had hoped on that Thanksgiving Eve. After her mother, Ruby, teased her about her new baby looking like a little Chinese and asked her why her cuticles looked so dark, Rita snatched the baby out of her mother's arms and left. The reason was revealed later when her brother Tommy busted through the door. My grandmother Ruby was mortified. A nigger? She had a nigger in my house? You tell Rita Faye to never come back or bring that nigger baby into my house again. She is not my daughter. Rita never had a great relationship with her mother. Her mother hated her guts. Ruby would never let Rita leave the house, and if she didn't have to clean up the house, Ruby would make her stay in her room. Her 3 brothers and 2 sisters got to do what they wished and what they wanted while Rita got treated like shit. One time, her mother brought her shoes that were 2 sizes too small, and when Rita told her about it, Ruby made her wear them anyway. It was the only pair of shoes she had, and she had to wear them as she walked 3 miles to school every day. I remember my dad, Virgil, always teasing my mom about her pinky toe, how her pinky toe would curl over the neighboring toe, while my sister and I pointed and laughed at it. My mom laughed along, but I'm sure that deep down it triggered the anger she must have held against her mom for being so cruel. So that's, how my life started. My sister's a bit older than me, and so when my mother hid her pregnancy from her parents. Until it was revealed that day when she brought the baby over. So, because she had known her parents were racist, and wouldn't accept her and was scared she would be rejected, and that's what happened.
And your grandmother?
My grandmother, yeah.
Was not to be played with.
Was not to be played with.
And it's just so, the time that we're living in right now, with the world being so divided. Yeah. And then you've been dealing with this basically all your life. And you have first-hand knowledge of what it feels like to be mistreated by your grandparents. Yeah.
I mean, they rejected us, so I've in turn I rejected them. I never claimed them as my grandmother or my family, because later on, maybe 10 years after I was born, my mother and her mother started to rekindle their relationship, kind of repair things, and so they eventually was able to move past things, but when she came around, she was always Marie to me. I didn't. Ruby. Ruby. She was never grandma. She never felt that way to me. I always, a part of me always rejected her.
We're going to get more into that when we come back, because this is a deep conversation, especially with the times that we're living in now. And then it's just like the world is so divided, like I said, and you have first-hand knowledge of what racism feels like from the inside of your family. This is Gee Smalls, and I'm your girl, Miss Sophia. Hold it down right here on WERUradio. WERUradio. We are the home of the urban sound of pride. Let's ride.
Hey, Miss Wellness Wednesdays with me, D.B. Marshall,